Hi, my name's Russell Maddock. I've been retired for a few years now, but I've known Simon Dukes of Harwich for about 5 years. I got to know Simon through a gentleman called Mike James, who was my previous advisor. And I met Mike some 30 odd years ago when I was a sales manager for a company called Ginsters. I just found that I was able to get on with Simon very well. He listened to what I was after, and our relationship seemed to blossom from there. I was at a very interesting stage where I'd had my own company. I decided to sell the company, and I'd got to a point where I needed some real help and advice with my financial future, from a stake of sort of understanding where I could invest, how much I could invest, and what my forecast spend would look like once I retired and through the rest of my years. One of the things that really impressed me with what Simon and Harwich were able to offer was their forecasting models. We were able to add certain elements of what we thought we could do. We were able to add sensitivities to that and really understand what our capabilities were, and that was really important to me. The most important thing for me was we always wanted to have a property overseas, and I just needed to understand what the size of that property could be from an investment point of view, and to understand what the risk factor was, because I always wanted to have an element of comfort should we make the wrong investment, or should the investment go pear-shaped, so to speak. So that was really important. So we were able to buy the property we wanted to. We now run it as a business. It brings in a lot of rental income, and I don't think I've got the property I wanted to get without understanding the sort of forecasting element going forward. Having worked for a number of different companies over the years, I've always taken up the various pension options that have been offered. But as you get older, you realise actually they vary from company to company. The benefits are different, and they're fairly complex schemes. So I asked Simon to review all of those pensions. There were a couple that we took away and had analysed, and one in particular, which was quite a sizable pension, we moved into the fund that he manages. And the benefit for me was that means I had control of my money, if you like, and the benefits I had control of. The good thing about Simon is I can always pick up the phone and have a chat with him. I can always ask questions, and he's pretty good. He'd come back within probably an hour, if not a couple of hours, even if it's just a text to say, yeah, the answer's this, or can we have a chat in an hour or so's time. And that's actually quite important, because now and again I get sort of conundrums thrown at me that I need to understand. But on a regular basis, we probably meet 2, if not 3 times a year. We have a full review of what's going on. I'm a great believer in no surprises, and he understands that. So if there's any bad news coming down the track, I'd much rather understand that sooner rather than later. And I think the most important thing is about trust. You build up a relationship with someone, and actually trust is the most important thing. And over time, we've built up this relationship where I think he understands how I work, and because of that, I trust him. And the most important thing going forward is to make sure that I can pass on some of the benefits that I've had in my life to my children. And we're currently in the process of organising a deposit for my daughter, who's buying her first flat in London. And Simon's been actually instrumental about how is the best way to take some of the various components of the investments I've got with him, and how we can tax efficiently move that into a deposit for my daughter. So the thing for me that strikes me about Simon and Harwich is it doesn't matter who you speak to in the organisation. Whether I pick up the phone, I speak to any member of the admin team, you always get a very helpful, pleasant response. And if they don't know the answer, you know that someone's going to deal with it. It's not going to get left on the desk. The question I get asked all the time: would you endorse and would you recommend Harwich to anybody else? Well, I sit here today, and there's probably 4, if not 5 people who used to work with me in my old company who are now using Simon and Harwich to manage their own pensions and their finances. So yeah, I'd highly recommend Simon and Harwich to anybody